And let's start recording. I'm just gonna restate what I said before, I guess. Um, so this stream is just me talking randomly off the cuff about Hellboy, the comic, and how it relates to the movies, or at least the ones that tried to relate closer to the comics. So like as far as like the first one goes, like um the the reboot did it as well. Yeah, like I said, having the ceremony and the summoning take place in the same location, I think that was a good idea because like it cuts down on redundancy, and like especially if you're doing with like Germans and stuff in the World War II era, doing like this whole ceremony and then seemingly nothing happens. I feel like that wouldn't go well. You know, they wouldn't be happy with that. Um, you know, but the first movie, I feel like it has like Hellboy's character, the character of Hellboy himself. I feel like is better in the comics. I like it more. I like how he's kind of more like just nonchalant about things, I guess. Like that's more fun to me. Like I get when you're making like a movie, like you need a character who's like kind of emotes more and is a bit more like expressive because you don't have like narration boxes and stuff like you do with comics or novels or whatever. Um, so I kind of understand that, but I feel like maybe like kind of like a nice medium somewhere between like, you know, impulsive like angry Hellboy that we get in like the Del Toro movies versus like, you know, somewhat casual like this whatever like type of stuff we get in the comics. I feel like there's a nice happy medium you can get between those. That we don't really get so much um in the movies, and like I prefer like that style, you know. um let's see what else. I don't know, I expected to have more to say. I guess, and let me adjust this real quick. There we go. Okay. But yeah, I feel like a lot of things like are kind of about like the most recent arc I read, which is kind of like the last one the first movie like takes cues from. I'm mostly going to be talking about like the first movie and a little bit of Blood and Iron, because those are the ones that like um the films like the ones that are actually like taking more stuff from like the comics, because there's nothing like the Golden Army in the comics. That's actually, that one is my favorite of the movies because I do prefer like these sort of like day-to-day stuff like going on, like not, like something that's not like specifically tied to like the grand lore with like the right hand of doom and like all the apocalypse stuff. Like we see in the main, I guess it's just two now that I think about it. It's just Seed of Destruction and Wake the Devil that really have dealt with that so far, at least as far as ones that went and informed the film. But characterization, I like Abe in the movies. Like he's a bit more timid, but I do like that he has like the extra powers and stuff. Like there's nothing wrong with like just being like a fishman person, but him having like extra weird like hand touchy psychic whoozy what's it, that's kind of fun. I really like that. And the character Cronin is like super different. Like he's got the same mask and that's about it. Cause like in the book he's like a mad scientist and he like talks. I feel like he's kind of generic. Again, that's another character that I feel like we could find like some kind of medium like in between with, you know. like he could still talk and like have kind of a personality, but he could still be like cool clockwork assassin man, I feel like that was like a cool choice. Like if they ever did like, I'd actually really like it if they did like some kind of like Hellboy animated series or something I mean they did the movies, but like something with more like this with like the darker, heavier shading and stuff like we see in the comic. It doesn't have to be the exact same style, but something like that would be cool. Um, yeah, this is just scattered random thoughts. I'm probably gonna post this in my read through playlist on YouTube. I don't know if I'm gonna have like any other point where I talk about the movies. I don't know, maybe around like Halloween or something, closer to October. I might like go and do like videos specifically on each of the movies. I don't know. Um, but like, uh, I feel like honestly, as a story, because I'm gonna talk about a bit more about Wake the Devil and then Blood and Iron, because Blood and Iron takes a lot from Wake the Devil in that it's a vampire who like works for ancient Greek god Hecate and all that stuff. But I feel like Blood and Iron's a better movie because it doesn't, or a better story because it doesn't try to like spread itself as thin as Wake the Devil did. Because, like I said in my video on that, it did like so many different things, Um, so, um, God, I feel so scatterbrained right now. Um, but yeah, like, um, God, this would be. Maybe I should have actually prepared something for this. Nah, it's gonna fit right in with my ramblings about the actual comics. But yeah, Blood and Iron is really cool. That's my favorite of the two animated movies. My actual movie ranking goes Golden Army, Blood and Iron, the first Del Toro one, Sword of Storms, um, and then I guess the reboot at the bottom by default. um, yeah, which is funny actually. I guess I didn't talk about this. The reason I decided to actually start doing this read through proper is because I was at like a friend's place for like a get together, and that movie ended up like popping up as the next play in the background. I was like, oh my god, this is so bad, and it made me want to like go back to like the old movies and be like, I haven't actually read the comics. I've been wanting to do that for so long, so I'll make a whole series out of it. I'll make a thing out of it. And so I have. Um, but yeah. So the whole thing about like, I feel like I don't know. It's hard to compare Blood and Irons. When I first watched it when I was younger, I thought it was Elizabeth because of the way people pronounce it, but apparently it's Erzabet, which I don't think either of those are a name, but I feel like Elizabeth with an L sounds more like a name than Erzabet. I don't know. But yeah, the yeah, it's hard to compare her to. Well, I guess I don't even remember Prussian man's name. I know he was like a Prussian vampire, and he was in love with the Nazi lady, but like he was so inconsequential in the story. I guess yeah, Erzabet's a bit more interesting because she's consequential at least a little bit, and they tied it in with Broom, which I did touch on that in my video. That like I know it's like their relationship isn't as like it's different in the comics, but like again in the very first issue he's the closest thing I had to a father, and then they just kind of gloss over him dying, like again like a splash page, a full page spread, something, some kind of moment to show Hellboy like mourning this man who he, even if he's not like directly like calling him like hey dad or whatever, like something like that, because like even still you've known this man like most of your life, like I don't know, like, cause like he's been through a lot, but like still, this is someone who should be like close to him, you know? Like that was like, I think John Byrne co-wrote that one. It's just weird that like we don't even take a moment to like pause on that, cause it would be developed later that he is a more, well, again, in the thing it says closest thing I had to a father, so it's like you'd think he would, like, he's been developed more over time, but like it's weird, you know, like if even someone like close-ish to me like died in my presence like that, I'd be like, even if I don't like consider them like a father figure or anything, I would have to like take a pause, or like if you're doing a story or something, it's weird, I don't know, like I feel like that's just not a great choice. You take a drink of water. I don't know if you got that ASMR or not. Enjoy it. But yeah, um, that's a weird choice, and um, again, very scattered. We're not focused here. This isn't meant to be a focus thing. This is just random scattered thoughts, all over the place. We're being all over the place today. That's what we're about right now. We're vaguely focused on Hellboy, and that's what we're gonna do. But yeah, Blood and Iron, I feel like focusing purely on Hecate. Hecate in that movie is still kind of like, she's not as like um random as she feels in the comics, because we don't have like that moment of like setup where we see in the movie where like they're going through and they've got these artifact display pieces up, and one of them is a representation of Hecate to be like, hey, here's this character who might show up later. And then in the comics, I think she's like mentioned, maybe, but like it's not as like present. And again, like in the movie, she's like actually beaten, where in the comic she eats Hellboy and sends him to like a dark dimension, and then she does the thing where he's like, you should join us, blah, 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 start the apocalypse. And then he grows the horns like we see in the first movie, and then he does the thing that he does in the first movie where he breaks them off. It's like, no, I don't want to be evil. But then for some reason, he just appears back in the normal world, and she's just gone. Like, why not just keep him? Or you're like a god of witches. Can you not like brainwash him? Do something like that. Why does she just pop, poof, gone? She's just gone. And then in the live action movie, he's fighting against Rasputin, who unleashes, oh god, what was it called? The weird Lovecraftian squid monster thing. It was in Seed of Destruction. I don't remember its name. It had a weird name. But like, so there is that. So that's again, Seed of Destruction, where he's fighting Rasputin directly, and he's fighting this thing. But like, it's a more direct. Like, it's like he doesn't have. In the movie, Rasputin's character doesn't seem to be as mystically powerful as he is in the comic, where now he's like this weird spirit guy, and he's got like all these magic powers he was gifted from like the other side or whatever. Cause like he's like, I want to herald the apocalypse for the Jihad or whatever the heck. Which I will say, I really think it's like, I don't know. I think having him like actively be like somehow disappeared by the ritual like fucking up or something. Maybe, I don't know if I like that better than him just skulking around. I don't know. Maybe him having to like not having some sort of situation where he's like actively deterred, instead of, because like he waits for like decades to like try and find and approach Hellboy. I don't know why. Like, he's got mystical powers. I don't know if he developed those later, but like it seems like he could, like, because like we do skip over like a lot of those decades, like with his character. It seems like he got his power like around when in his like the actual historical Rasputin like died, like where he fell into the river and like sorry, the poisoning, the burning, the stabbing, the shooting, all that shit. Um, yeah. So that's I feel like him having again that's going back to I feel like the movie did do his sort of like coming to Earth origin story a bit better than the comic one did. And then what else do I want to touch on? I guess I don't know if I'll ever actually since there's no exact analog for the Golden Army, I will talk about briefly. I haven't gotten in my read through to like the comics with him yet, but I'm familiar with Krause's design, and that's something Del Toro I feel like knocked out of the park because in the comic he just kind of looks. I don't know. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Ba-ba-ba. Hopefully things don't break again when I try this. Okay, let's just drop that there. And then there. Okay. Okay, things didn't break. Yay! I don't know what that was going. Okay, let's pop that on there. If it will let me. Okay, it won't let me. I have to pop it this way. There we go. Okay, there's him in the movie. And here's him in the comic. And I feel like I do like Mike. Whoops. I do like Mike Mignola's design on a lot of things, but why won't it click on that picture? Okay. There it goes. Okay. I feel like this is something the movie definitely did better because like he's got this cool like old timey diver suit looking pressurized thing, and then in the comic he's just like this like blob guy. There was another design that like looked kind of closer to the movie, but still not like as fun, you know? Let's get those out of there. Okay. But yeah, that's the only thing I'll at least touch on in this stream in regards to the Golden Army. Let's move me over a bit. Okay. Because that's the only thing from the comics that the Golden Army actually has, outside of, again, touching on, like, Apocalypse stuff with the right hand of Doom, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, one thing, I don't know how I feel about them having, like, a romance between Hellboy and Liz. Like, I think it's fine in the movie, but I don't know. I don't know about it. Like, as far as their characters in the comics versus the movie, I guess it feels more like they just wanted to try to have a love interest, or I guess I don't know, maybe I guess it could like kind of like ground him more like in personhood to have like a person he directly cares about, but like in the comic he's just like, no, I don't want to do this whole end the world thing. I like the world. It's where I keep all my stuff. You know? I mean, obviously more than that, but he like yeah, we never get as we have or like in this part where I'm at, we didn't get anywhere near as close as him actually like almost opening the whatever to end the world and summon the horrible monsters. Though it is cool how like in the movie they straight up did like the big weird crystal in space. They didn't show the aliens though. They didn't show the aliens. It was very sad. That's the biggest tragedy. But it's like it seems like back when they were making the movie, because I know not that many of the comics were out when the first movie was being made. So it seems like they were leaning towards the idea that maybe the thing in the crystal is a Lovecraftian horror, where it turned out to just be a big Hydra dragon thing. But it has like offspring that are Lovecraftian horrors, so it's sort of in betweenish, you know. I don't know. I don't. This is definitely gonna be like a short stream. I don't know if I can, because it's literally like three arcs and like two movies and comparing and contrasting. As far as the actual first movie itself goes, I guess I'll touch on that a bit. Um, I do think it's really good. Like I said, I think this they do the idea of trying to give Hellboy an arc. Like obviously, since you're making a movie, you want your protagonist to have like an arc where they go through some kind of personal change. And in a lot of the comics, Hellboy doesn't really have much like growth to do. Like he's already kind of done it. You know, he's just he's already there. Um, like though I feel like in the second movie they do kind of like they could have reined in like the rage issues a bit much. Like I feel like if I were to do something with it, it'd be like I might keep like the whole anger issues thing, but I'd keep it more like subdued, where it's like, you know, he has a better lid on it, but like he can pop, you know, like where in the comics he's just pretty chill and laid back, like where he's mostly like got it down, but then like sometimes if you like push the buttons just right, he's just like ah, you know, something like that. And because like he does, and as far as love interests go, I guess to touch on that again, he does actually have like kind of a love interest. Kate Corrigan, she was in Sort of Storms, and I think she was in a little bit of Blood and Iron. Yeah, I think she was in a little bit of Blood and Iron. I don't know, maybe it's because like she doesn't get to be like a super person. That's why they cut her out of the movie. I don't know. Well, actually, I don't know how many of the comics were actually out at the time of the movie, but I guess if we just go off what they were in the release order, Kate Corrigan, at least at this point, they just seem to be like close friends or something, like at the BPRD. You know, you wouldn't. I don't know. So like, it is a choice, I guess. I could maybe see I see like where they're coming from, but you know, I don't know about it. I don't know if like I don't know if I want to talk about the reboot, because like I haven't gotten to like, because it does also pull from like later stories that I haven't gotten to yet, but like I feel like a lot of what I'll be saying is just how I don't like it and how not good it is, and I don't know if anyone wants to hear me just be like, this sucks because of this, this, and this. And it's for like a movie that's like how many years old at this point? Like 4 or 5 years old. I definitely don't like that they doubled down on Hellboy apparently needing to like mature despite being a fucking grown ass man. It's like it's like, oh, he lives longer, so he like matures and ages slower. It's like, not really though, because like like he doesn't seem to, and also like I feel like his personality would be shaped by the fact that he's around humans a lot, you know, humans who age like humans, and so that would kind of be his perception of time. It's based on human, no matter how slow or fast he ages. I don't know. It's like I said, Hellboy in the comics, he's a much more laid back, chill guy. The animated movies do kind of bring that out a bit. The moment in Sword of Storms where he's fighting the Kappa yokai demon thing, that's really fun. Where he's just like talking to it, and like he just trash talks it a bit. I like that as a trope where it's like someone encounters the supernatural and they're just like, whatever. It's just fun. It's just fun. As far as like looks, the Del Toro movies definitely, like, I mean, they've got the Del Toro-ness to them. Like it's down pat. It's definitely like all the creature designs and stuff that's like, oh, that's Del Toro creatures. Like the first movie has those weird like squid demon dog things that weren't in the comics. Like those were Del Toro inventions, Del Toro creatures. Blah. Like the second movie, it definitely has that in like spades. And which the reboots in like one moment did have really fun creature designs. I'm not gonna trash it because they're CG, because like it's not like they were gigantic destruction demons, so like I don't know how you do that with practical effects. I mean, you could, but I mean, you know, you'd have to build like an entire like Godzilla set and stuff, and I don't think it would go. You'd still have to end up using CG in the first place. And as far as like the current movie, I don't know. I've seen a lot of people were down on it. I didn't mind any like people were like. I've seen people say that like the first trailer was bad. I liked it. I thought it was fine. I don't have a problem with how it looked. My only big issues, at least as far as like the makeup look on Hellboy in that movie, is I don't like the way they did like his I don't know if they're long enough to be considered mutton chops or like sideburns or whatever. I don't know. They styled them kind of weird, like points to them. I think they're trying to like emulate the comics a bit closer, but I don't know. I don't like how they look like they were styled. And no fault to the actor, but I think it kind of looks weird because he doesn't have as prominent a brow as like David Harbour and Ron Perlman did, and like Hellboy here, like I mean, he's got massive underbites. You don't have to do it exactly, but like he's got like this caveman brow thing, and like I don't know. I feel like Ron Perlman did have the best look for it. With like all that stuff, but again, Del Toro like super experienced in that. He's like the expert at that. As far as the third movie that would have been made, I don't know if I'd want it or not. I've heard so many different things to what it would have been about. The only thing that I know for certain that it would have happened is that Hellboy would have had kids. It would have been about like Hellboy and his kids. I don't know. It could have been interesting. Honestly, because like I say, I'm not super invested in like the main plot. I like the going around ghost busting or monster busting or whatever stories. Like I feel like I'm not alone in that from what I've seen. Like most people prefer like the workaday like go around fight the monsters stuff compared to like the big overarching plot thing. So like I'm not like super broken up about the lack of a third Del Toro movie. I mean, would it have been better than the reboot? Maybe, probably, most likely. But I do have high hopes for the Crooked Man. It looks fun. I haven't read the comic story yet. I don't know if I want to do that first or watch the movie first, because like one will inevitably spoil the other, because like the way they've been talking about this movie is they've been trying to stick closer to the way the comics lay out. So I don't know if I want to do one first or the other. Like I'm not like a huge like anti-spoiler person, but like I don't know, because like I don't want to like see this thing and then like read a thing and then just have the entire thing like retold to me in a certain way. I might do the movie first just in case it's not as good, because then like I might still be able to enjoy the movie a bit comparatively. Because like if it's not as good but it's still like a good movie, I could still like enjoy it, where I'm not thinking about how it could have been better. I don't know. I'm actually not even sure when it's coming out. I know it's going to streaming. That's all I know. I know it's supposed to come out like somewhere between a few weeks to a month. But yeah, another thing like that I feel was like I feel like the comics, like the movies did better than the comics, is I'm grooving out to the background music. Is that again, I think like just the focus thing, you know, like they kind of like again, God, this is gonna be, because I don't want to rag on Wake the Devil too much, because it was good, but it did too much and didn't give itself enough time to do it. Like it wanted to do the Nazi plot, wanted to do the vampire, it wanted to do introducing Hecate, it wanted to do all this, and then it just a bunch of like it speeds through so many things. Like who I thought was supposed to be our main antagonist literally just yeets himself out of the story, and then Hecate, who was talked about a little bit, comes in and then fights Hellboy for a bit, and then we get a line that did get a really good line that was reused in Blood and Iron, where he's like, given that you're a major mythological figure, I'm gonna take it easy on you, and that's funny. That's a good line. Like if I don't know, almost feel like introducing Hecate like works better in the context of Blood and Iron, and then maybe like, or at least have her hinted at here, and then do like something else to like directly introduce. I don't know, or maybe just like nix the extra like plot stuff, because it's like, I guess like Rasputin wants Hecate around to do things, and she needs I think her name's Ilsa, the blonde lady. She was also in the movie. She didn't do anything much of importance there either. That's just a, that is something I'll say, is that her character doesn't do anything in either version of the story. She's just kind of there to be the lady. Like you saw Indiana Jones 3, Last Crusade, where there was a blonde Nazi lady. Well, there's one here too, and she's just kind of there. The only difference is that in the movies, they changed it to where she is like in love with Rasputin, like romantically, where in the comics she's just like a super hardcore like cult follower devotee, but then she has like a thing for the vampire guy, and I don't quite see how that'd be compatible between the two. But then again, vampire guy, whose name I don't remember. Again, not not great as a character. That guy doesn't really have one. He's the setup. That's what he is. He's a setup. Like, I feel like they could have done more with him. Like, Erzabet didn't have much either, but she had like they invented like a thing where they had her tie into broom, and he got to beat her. But she did do a little bit more. She had like the spooky wolves, and she menaced our main characters for a bit. And of course, they had like the whole flashback thing with her. I don't know. It's hard to say that the movie's better paced, because like one's a comic and one's a movie, so it's hard to tell. Like, you can't really get a factor for how long things are supposed to take as you read a comic, because like each person can experience it differently. Like, maybe someone could read the comic faster than a person could watch the movie, and maybe someone would read the comic slower than they could watch the movie. It's, relative. And then as far as like like comparing it to the first movie, like I feel like, well, the comics are probably shorter than the first movie, because it's just, if you want to focus on just that, it'd be Wake the Devil and Seed of Destruction, which you could get through pretty fast, but it doesn't have as much of a conclusion to it, which maybe some people wouldn't like, though the comics obviously is supposed to be a much longer ongoing narrative, whereas a movie, it's a movie, beginning, middle, end. Didn't know they were going to get a sequel when they were making it, and then he made the second one. He was hoping to get a sequel, but didn't work out. Again, like the direct big plot stuff, not my biggest interest. Like, it's not like it's bad. It's not like the Apocalypse stuff is bad. It's just I just like I had the same thing when I watched through X-Files, and even like I didn't finish either of them, but I also tried watching Supernatural, and they have all this overarching plot stuff about big who's he what's it's like with X-Files, it's big aliens, and with Supernatural it's like another apocalypse or demons or something like that. And I'm just like, I just want something about people who go around and fight spooky monsters. I actually like Monster of the Week. I feel like Monster of the Week is underrated as a narrative device. You could have an overarching thing, like overarching character stuff, and then have Monster of the Week stuff. Because, like, especially, like, the way Hellboy does it, and where they explore actual, like, mythologies and stuff. But, Monster of the Week can, like, get... I could see how it could maybe, like, get boring if you're, like, running on for too long, but, like, it's underrated, in my opinion. It's fun. It's fun to see people go around and do stuff and fight like a different creature every week. It's fun. I like supernatural spookiness, and I like seeing people who like have the ability to like combat it. Like, I guess of the three franchises I mentioned, Hellboy is probably my favorite one because he's also like a supernatural thing, so he's like empowered and you can fight them directly. Haha. So like that's cool. But yeah, I don't know how long have I been going. Almost like 40 minutes. I guess this is like meant to be like a much shorter stream. Like there's not like a whole lot for me to say because it's like two arcs directly correlating to like two movies. Um, I guess I could maybe touch a bit more on like some of the stuff I didn't really go over in um my little short discussion videos, like um maybe the chain coffin, which I didn't talk about the short stories. I didn't talk about the short stories today. The chain coffin, that was really fun. That was really cool. Like lore stuff. We get to see like the backstory of I guess how Hellboy was conceived, as it were. It's appropriately messed up for something that involves a demon. And we get him to have like an emotional moment, and he reflects on that. Again, would have been nice to have at least something a little like that with his pseudo dad. But we're not gonna dwell too hard on that. We're not gonna dwell too hard on that. Oh shit, I'm sorry. I hope you guys didn't hear that bump too much. I'm gonna take another drink of water. Water drink ASMR. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything else I have to say right now. Yeah, this is just sort of like a short little scattered thoughts thing. I guess like as a check-in, since where the comics are at, I've caught up to at least like what the first movie was working off of, and then of course the way Blood and Iron worked off of. And I'm probably not gonna do anything talking about the reboot because again, I just talk about how it's bad, and I don't know if anyone wants me to do a whole video where I just talk about how this thing is bad and here's why. And I know it's got like a bunch more different stories that it tries to like throw in there. Some of them I haven't gotten to yet. And then like yeah. I'm sorry if I'm not talking enough about like the movies themselves or whatever, but like I don't know. I might do like a more direct thing on the actual movies themselves later. This is just sort of like a random scattered thoughts thing because, like I said, I'd do it in my video. So here I am, and I hadn't streamed yet this week, and it's getting later in the week. Which sorry about that. Next week I should hopefully be able to do it again on like a Monday or Tuesday. But yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's all I have for right now. It's a short stream, sort of, I guess, barring the technical difficulties from earlier. Yeah, I guess that's all I have to say on this. See you guys next time. I think I'm gonna get back to the Sinking City next stream. So yeah, see everyone then.